Imagine this. Your landlord hates you, not because you trashed the place, not because you broke the rules, but simply because she wanted her friend to live where you do. So instead, she spends months making your life miserable, harassing you, ignoring urgent repairs and threatening to steal your deposit. Now picture this. The moment she realizes all her power is gone, and you're the one standing there, calm and smiling, as her whole little kingdom crumbles. Yeah, this is that story. If you've ever had a landlord, boss, or even a neighbor who thought they could control you just because they held a little bit of power, you're going to love this revenge. So smash that like button, subscribe if you crave justice as much as I do, and let's dive into one of the most satisfying landlord gets wrecked stories you'll ever hear. Years ago, I moved into a duplex owned by a genuinely nice man. He was fair, honest, and reasonable. Everything you'd want in a landlord. I paid a solid security deposit, signed the lease, and thought, hey, this will be fine. Except, he wasn't the one I had to deal with every day. That joy belonged to Giselle. Now, Giselle wasn't the actual owner. She was a tenant too. But the landlord gave her a deal, half rent, in exchange for handling all the day-to-day stuff, collecting checks, arranging repairs, keeping an eye on the property. In theory, not a bad system. In practice, oh, it was a nightmare. From the second I moved in, Giselle despised me. And the cherry on top? She lived in the other half of my duplex. If you've ever dealt with a nightmare landlord, or a neighborhood, Karen, you know the type. Giselle was obsessed with rules. She'd bang on my door if my TV wasn't off. Exactly 1 minute after quiet. Hours. If my friends parked even an inch too far on her side, she'd scream at them. Checks, I slipped into the usual slot somehow. Got lost. Repairs? They'd drag on for weeks, if they ever happened at all. But here's the kicker. I later found out why she hated me. Turns out, Giselle had wanted her friend to move into my half of the duplex. The owner said no, her friend's credit was terrible. Mine was excellent. That was it. That's all it took for Giselle to declare war. Pure bitter spite. I kept telling myself, just stick it out. Once the lease is over, you'll move closer to work and never see her again. But of course, Giselle wasn't done. A few weeks before my lease was up, I noticed something serious. The water heater was leaking. Water pooling on the floor. Towels soaked every night. Now, anyone who's ever dealt with mold knows how dangerous this can get. So I did the responsible thing. Emailed Giselle. Nothing. A week later, I followed up. Hey, maybe you missed this. Could be a real problem. Silence. I emailed again, explaining. I'd even had a plumber friend take a look. He said it needed fixing immediately. Finally, Giselle replied, I'll look into it. That was it. No action, no repair, nothing. It was clear what she was doing, running out the clock. If she ignored me long enough, I'd move out. The next tenant would deal with it, and she wouldn't lift a finger. Then, one day, I caught her outside watering flowers. I tried to bring it up again, and she looked me dead in the eye and said, I hope you're keeping it clean in there. I'm a stickler for final inspections. If you want any of your deposit back, you better be ready to pass a white glove test. The smirk on her face? Oh, I can still see it. She thought she had me cornered. She thought she could mess with me and walk away richer. But then fate intervened. A week before my final rent check was due, I saw the actual owner in the neighborhood. Giselle wasn't around. I walked over, shook his hand, and thanked him for renting to me. Told him I appreciated it. He smiled, said he was sorry I was leaving, and that if I ever needed anything, just let him know. That's when it hit me, the plan, the way to flip everything upside down. Actually, I said, would you mind coming in for the deposit inspection? He agreed. We walked through the place together. He nodded approvingly. Everything looked great. No issues. Then we got to the water heater. I paused, then gravely said, I hope we can come to an understanding. About the floor here, I opened the closet to reveal the towels I'd laid down the night before, still sopping wet. I explained the whole story, showed him the emails, told him about mold and the danger of ignoring it. His face went red. Did you tell Giselle about this? He asked. Yes, I said. Here's the proof. I pulled out a file folder of emails I'd saved, detailing every ignored repair request. He flipped through them, and I could see his blood pressure rising. Finally, he looked at me and said, With everything I've seen here, I'm fine releasing your full security deposit. And then, inspiration struck. I had one rent check left. $750, but my deposit was $500. How about, I suggested, instead of me paying you $750 and you giving me $500 back, I just pay $250 and we call it even? He thought about it for all of 2 seconds, shrugged. Sure. Checkmate. A few days later, I slipped my $250 check into the slot. That evening, there was thunder at my door. Giselle. Red in the face. Screaming. Where's the full rent check? You can't short me. I can have you evicted. Write me a new check right now. I calmly explained, $750 rent minus $500 deposit equals $250. Math, simple. Her eyes widened. You could see the wires in her brain short-circuiting. She exploded. That's not how things work. I do the inspections, I say if you get your deposit back. You follow the rules like everyone else. Spittle flew from her mouth as she raged. I just stood there, calm as a monk. Then I dropped the hammer. The owner already did the inspection. He signed off. If you've got a problem, talk to him. Now please get off my porch. And I closed the door. Slowly. Watching her face freeze in total disbelief. That image, her powerless, seething, trying to process what just happened, is burned into my memory forever. A few days later, the owner stopped by. He wanted to fix the water heater before the next tenant moved in. We chatted, and he casually mentioned his daughter was moving into my unit. She'd be taking over Giselle's role as on-site landlord. I asked, so, what about Giselle? He smiled faintly. She's moving out. Can't afford full rent anymore. And just like that, she lost the sweet deal, the control, the little kingdom she thought she ruled, all gone. Sometimes karma doesn't just knock. It kicks the door wide open. Giselle thought she had power over me. She thought she could bully me, bleed me dry, and walk away laughing. Instead, she lost everything, and all it took was a little patience. And a lot of receipts, if that revenge gave you chills. Smash that like button and tell me in the comments. Have you ever dealt with a landlord, boss, or neighbor who deserved payback? I'd love to hear your stories. And of course, subscribe for more of the most satisfying revenge stories on the internet. Because trust me, I've got plenty more where this came from.